Okay, would you be willing to acknowledge yourself for being here tonight? Come on, let's get that energy up. Yeah. Welcome to the Way of Mastery. The Way of Mastery. Remember that we are not to get too serious. We are to be sincere, but not serious. Because if seriousness produced the result that we were looking for, we'd all have it. Because y'all know we serious. And what I like to say is, the very moment that you think an unloving thought, the very moment you think an unloving thought as a physically embodied being, that's what you are. You are a what? Physically embodied being. So you are a being that is physically embodied.
Right now.
You are a being that's physically embodied right now. And so whenever you think an unloving thought, you immediately alter the electrical flow of energy. The minute you think an unloving thought, the minute you in your mind say, that son of a bitch, you are altering the electrical flow of energy throughout your whole physical system. So as soon as you get into guilt or anger or fear or depression, you immediately alter the electrical flow of energy that's going through your body. And you also alter the chemical balance of your body. Then you experience a tightness in your body, and sometimes sadness in your body, depression in your body, or an overall ill at ease feeling. So let's work back. Why do I have a tightness in my body, a sadness or depression sometimes, and a feeling of ill at easeness? Some of you might be experiencing right now. It's because you have altered the chemical balance of your body by having an unloving thought that immediately altered the electrical flow of energy throughout your physical body, and that's what you call, I'm depressed. It's an unloving thought affecting the electrical flow in your physical body, altering your chemical balance that produces your feeling of fear, upset, and depression, and not what that person said to you. It's not because your bank account's overdrawn. It's not because we are trying to decide which ego we're going to listen to for the next 2 years. We call it election night. We just run over here, bloop, 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 bloop. Then we run back up, bloop, 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 bloop. Then we run back up, bloop, 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 bloop. You know, it's so funny. It's so funny. It's so funny. Aren't you going to make my life totally better, Republican? Or you not? Bloop, 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 bloop. Democrat, will you make my life fulfilling and satisfy all of my needs? No? Bloop, 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 bloop. Republican, will you? It's just another form of looking outside of ourselves every time we think the government is somehow responsible for our happiness or anything else outside of ourselves. So when I get scared because I think my happiness depends on you, it directly affects my embodied being by changing the electrical flow in my body and altering my chemical balance, and then I feel bad. That's what's causing you to feel bad, if you're feeling bad about anything right now. But we don't have to believe it. It's very important to remember we don't have to believe this, accept this, or welcome this. It's important to remember that some of this we might actively resist and find really hard to believe. Let's just go ahead and accept that. We're going to hear some stuff that's hard for us to believe. Right?
Right.
Not only is it hard for me to believe, I don't even know what the hell you said. First, I got to get to actually hearing you first. We work on even believing it. I say it again. You are a physically embodied being. And every time you have an unloving thought, You affect the electrical flow in your physical body that in turn alters your chemical balance, and then you feel depressed or angry or ill at ease. But it came from the thoughts you had, not the thing you were looking at. So unloving thoughts, he's telling us in the way of mastery, that every negative thought, not just the big ones, that you really get your attention wrapped around. He says, but even your small negative thoughts, still this is true. So the only way a person can experience depression, do you know that the only way that a person can experience depression is because they're denying their own pathway to their own joy? So you're depressed because you're choosing not to know your path. That's what we're being told. Say, Earl, you're depressed because you're denying your path to joy. So if you're depressed, buddy, it's because you're not on your path. You're on somebody else's, and they're running over you. Get off my path. Either I'm criticizing somebody else's path instead of being on my path. So it says depression is the result. Depression, anybody here ever had depression? Okay. Depression can only occur in a mind that's been denying its pathway to joy. It also is a result of resisting the true flow of life throughout your body. So people are depressed because they're not letting the true flow of life go through their body. So if you're depressed right now, you're not letting life flow through you. Woo! Now, this resistance can occur a lot of different ways. It can be the result of not allowing yourself to feel a feeling until it completes itself. Sometimes we start to feel something and we'll stop ourselves. Like I'm feeling angry, let me stop it. I'm beginning to feel happy, let me stop it. He said, so depression comes from incomplete expressions of any feeling that you're having. So it'd be much better for me if I feel anger to just go ahead and let myself feel that anger until it completes itself than to try to resist it, because then I am going to what? He says I'm going to alter the electrical flow that's going through my body, which affects my chemical balance, and so then I start to feel like I want to kill somebody. God is explaining our world. So then it says that withholding a simple truth, if those of you who got the book, it's like, I'm on page 334 in the way of knowing. How many of you actually find yourself trying to repress your feelings instead of truly letting yourself feel them? Anybody here, raise your hand, please. Okay, all right. Have you ever experienced depression or sadness? Okay. Have you ever had an unloving thought? Well, now we understand what's really going on. It's exactly what we read. I got an unloving thought, alters the electrical energy flowing through my body, which affects my chemical balance, and then I feel unhappy or upset about something. And not only that, I'm depressed because I'm not following my own path. I'm denying my own source, my own path to joy. And on top of that, it turned around and said, I'm not even letting life flow through me. No wonder I got a bad day. But the mistake I make is I blame that unhappiness on you. And then I say, if you were different, I wouldn't feel upset. Took it all, you didn't focus on my unloving thoughts that's causing it at all. But it's actually my unloving thought about you that's causing it. Even my blaming you is an unloving thought about you. So every time I blame somebody for something, I'm altering the electrical flow of energy through my body, which is going to alter my chemical balance, and then I'm going to be hard to get along with. And that's what next time you see your boss acting up, wow, the chemical balance in your body is being affected by the electrical flow. That unloving thought you're having about me, isn't it right, boss? That'll stop a person right in the middle of their tracks. You know, you said it to your mate. Oh, you have an unloving thought about me that's affecting the electrical flow in your body and also affecting the chemical balance that's making you really be upset with me right now? Are you resisting your path to joy? Let the true flow of life go through you, dear. I bet you that person goes, they wouldn't be arguing with you anymore. They'd be running down the street. People who are insane are terrified of sane people. People who are full of fear are terrified of love. And that's me. I'm terrified of love. That's why I teach these classes. Don't y'all dare try to love me. And so far you've been real successful. Too much love get close to me. I feel what? A resistance to the true flow of life. I feel myself wanting to deny my pathway to joy, which would be to receive it. Okay? Then it says, and I'm going to throw this open for questions and comments in a little bit, but I just want to see if we can do a great balance of hearing what it's teaching and then discussing it so that we can destroy the meaning of it. Have you ever thought you kind of understood some truth you was hearing until you heard everybody discussing it? Have you ever noticed that? You'll be like, oh, I heard what he just said, and oh, okay. Then everybody go, well, let's discuss it. And then by the time discussion over, I don't know what the hell to do, but none of that. I'm confused. I'm more confused than ever. That's the purpose of discussion. But I would surely not deny you the opportunity to discuss. Because we know our discussion is going to determine the truth of what we're hearing. I used to think things weren't true unless I believed it. Deep. So it then goes on to say, if you're going to be depressed if you don't complete your feeling, if you withhold the truth from yourself, and you're going to be depressed when you're denying the impulse of your heart. You want to follow the path of heart. What can you get your heart into? Who can you get your heart into? What can you get your heart into? So as you begin to walk a spiritual path, you will realize you need to be open to guidance of the Holy Spirit. It means that you need to be open to the guidance of your greater self. Then it says, in fact, you cannot awaken you. You can't wake you up. 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 You can't wake you up, because if you could wake you up, you would have already have awakened yourself. If I could make myself happy based on my own personal fantasies and thoughts, I would have already made myself happy. If you could make yourself happy on your own, you would have already done it, as old as you are. Then the opportunities are presented that contain within them. So you're going to have all the opportunities you need presented to you. You're going to have opportunities presented to you that will contain within the opportunities everything you need to awaken from your illusions. You're going to start having opportunities, I said again, that are going to have contained in those opportunities everything you need to awaken from your fear. You're going to start having opportunities that have within them everything you need to awaken from any kind of unhappiness. You're about to receive opportunities that would allow you to wake up from every illusion and every fear and every false idea that you have. You're going to be presented with opportunities. You're going to be presented with opportunities. I realize that's a little alien that I've been not really, acknowledging. Did you see when they took that picture, NASA or whatever, the whole scientific telescope people? The spaceship coming out of the sun. Anybody else see that? It's been in Yahoo. Yeah. It's been like in the main. It's there's a spaceship that they saw going into the sun, and then coming out of the sun, and going into the sun, and the spaceship is as big as the whole planet Earth. Oh, crap. That's a lot of closet space. I'll say that again, in case you didn't hear what I just said. They have taken pictures of a spaceship as big as the planet Earth going in and out of the sun that's 29 million degrees.
Aliens are here.
Now, what does that mean? The course would say, nothing. It'll be whatever we make it mean.
They're dropping people off. As you
and they're not, well, y'all always been my theory that the aliens was never abducting people, they were dropping them off. I used to always say that. No self-respecting alien of a higher intelligence is going to come here and abduct Earthlings. Oh yes, we need them on our planet. Look what they've done with theirs. Let's just go get them. We need some Earthlings bad. They're going to make everything better for us. That's why I suppose you look out in space, we don't ever see nobody. They're as far from us as they can get. Because they're saying, when you learn how to love, we'll be right here. In the meantime, we're going to love you from a distance. Just like we do. People you don't really like, that you mean well, you don't hang out with them, but you don't wish them any harm either. You wait until the love is happening between you. That's what's happening with us. When we love and we show we have some sanity, then we'll see the proof that we're not alone and that we're loved. Because that's what you do. If you don't feel like you being loved and you would be attacked, you don't hang out with that person consciously. You get away. But when they show themselves to be truly loving, then you're open to connect. That's what we have to do. I'm going to start with you. You're easy. You're easy to love. You're easy to love. I don't have no scripts for you. So you're easy to love. Expectation is the mother of grievances. Yeah, write that down. Expectations is the mother of grievances. Because all of our grievances come from the expectations that we have of others that they're not doing. And our grievances toward ourselves is coming from the expectations we have of ourselves that we're not doing. So the more expectations you come up with, the more you setting yourself up or to get upset with yourself. So if I come in here and I don't expect anything of you, there's nothing to get upset with you about that you didn't do. What if I just let you show up how you show up? It's so quiet in here, you can hear a gnat fart. I guess we must be in a spiritual Zen state. Total silence. Well, why should I be quiet? You know what you just told me? You just told me that when I become to get on the spiritual path, I'm going to need to be open to the guidance of my higher self. Also, you just told me that I can't wake myself up, which means I can't really ultimately make myself happy because I didn't make myself. I can't ultimately make myself happy because I didn't make myself. So, because if I could make myself happy, since I would have already done it, but I'm going to have some opportunities presented to me that contain within these opportunities everything I need. So when I have a relationship, it's going to be an opportunity for me to experience everything I need. Everything in the world is going to be an opportunity for me to receive everything I need. Wow. And it also says the reason why we resist the opportunities that come our way is because it doesn't conform to our image of ourselves. So if the opportunity comes to me and it doesn't conform with the way I see myself, I miss the opportunity. Like let's say I walk up to you and I want to give you love, brother, and your image of yourself is that you don't deserve love. Well, you won't take advantage of my love and you'll resist it. So you resist opportunities when the opportunities are coming in a way that you don't think of yourself. Let's sit together. As a matter of fact, let's just have just a little interlude here, just for a second.
Let's dance this.
As you begin to walk a spiritual path, as you realize you need to be open to the guidance of the Holy Spirit, as you realize that you need to be open to the guidance of the loving Spirit, recognize that you cannot awaken yourself. You cannot awaken yourself. You cannot awaken yourself. But you're going to have some opportunities. Do you know you're going to have some opportunities? And in these opportunities, they're going to be everything you need. In these opportunities, there's going to be everything you need to awaken from everything that causes you pain. But if the love of the opportunity comes to you in a way that you don't think you deserve it, if the opportunity comes to you in a way you don't think you deserve it, then you will resist the love, you will resist the opportunity because it doesn't conform to your image of yourself. Now, questions and comments. And it can be a comment, it can be, wow, one thing I realized when you said that was, or it can be a question. Okay.
It's one of the two.
Okay.
When you asked the question, what do you do when you feel, fill in the blank, some ego-based emotion?
Mm-hmm.
What do you do? And I was thinking, what I do is try to climb into my conscious mind, and then I'll ask myself, why do I feel fear?
Mm-hmm.
Where's that fear coming from?
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's anger or jealousy or whatever it happens to be, where's that coming from?
Mm-hmm.
But that's not the same as awakening, is it?
That's the way to awaken.
Yeah.
That's the path to awakening.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like somebody shaking you before you wake up. That's great. Let's do that. I'm afraid right now. I'm angry right now. So rather than attack you as being the cause of it, can I stop a minute and ask myself, where's that coming from? What is this really about? Thank you. Anybody else got a question or comment? We've said some pretty intense stuff there. What causes depression? Based on what we just heard in your own words.
Resisting the flow of life.
Resisting the flow of life. What else did we hear that causes depression?
The story that we have about us.
Do what?
The story that we have about us.
That's right. The image that I have of myself.
Not completing emotion.
Not completing an emotion and letting it completely come through you, but trying to repress it. Can you wake yourself up, according to this?
No.
Isn't that obvious?
Yeah.
It's not like we're being taught something that's a stretch. Okay, anybody? Anybody else? Yeah.
Well, I did want to make a comment around depression and ask a question around depression because, so, like a lot of times lately, as of late, I have found myself having like these heart impulses and I see these images, they're like so beautiful, and then I'm like, well, I don't know how I'm gonna be able to do that or get there, and so then I get depressed because I'm like, I'm being shown all these things, but I don't know how to get there. But then I'm seeing that like it says over here, because I resist it because it does not conform to my image of myself. And so I'm seeing too that like the payoff for me to be depressed is safety, because you know this stuff is scary. Like just let go and trust spirit and be like, okay, take me on this ride. And so the payoff for me to be depressed and stop this is my idea of that I'm gonna somehow be safe and survive and secure, because I have this little world that I live in right now that I'm very familiar with. And I know this little world, but if I really let go and allow spirit to take me on this ride, I don't know what's out there, but I know that I see like the end picture of it, and so I don't know, like it's scary.
Thank you. Thank you. The opportunity is not conforming to your image of yourself. But that's the key word he said, but it's an opportunity. And within that opportunity contains everything you need to get rid of that fear you just described. You know? Thank you. Thank you. Anybody else would like to share or ask a question about something? But just say something that really impacted them.
Did Buddha wake himself up?
I don't know. I don't know. I would imagine he didn't.
Imagine he didn't.
I think he didn't. Yeah, I would imagine that all more enlightened beings are beings that have already gone through what we're going through. So it'd be, or else what would be the point of trying to emulate them? You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's easy for me to become something greater than you are if I'm the same thing. You know, so if he had to wake up to who he was, if I have to wake up, he had to wake up. That's the way I would see it. That's the way I would see it. That we're the same. If you're loved, I'm loved. If you got the power, I got the power. I got the power, you got the power. You can always tell when the ego gets involved, because when the ego gets involved, you think you have something that somebody else doesn't. And that's how you can always tell when you're wrong. So just the very perception that I'm lacking anything that you have is my way of knowing that I'm using an image of myself that will block me from having the opportunities to wake up in love that I need. Because I'm going to be afraid. So the opportunity to love is going to show up and I'm not going to do anything about it. I'm not going to be open to it. I'm not going to communicate. You see what I'm saying? Fear, that's what he's saying. Fear is altering our physical responses and our chemicals and the way we feel. And it's saying that's okay, don't worry about it. You on your spiritual path, you have guidance, you can't wake yourself up, you're going to be given opportunities to get beyond it. But let me tell you, when the breaks start to happen, they're probably going to come to you in a way that doesn't conform with the way you think things are. You're going to be willing to go, things might be different from the way I see them. Things might be different from the way I see them. Things can be different from the way I see them. Things can be different from the way I see them. Things can be different from the way I see them. The way I see things, that isn't necessarily the way it is. I have to start being willing to talk to myself that way in order to stay open to the opportunity that's going to present itself that may not conform to the way I think things should be. Does that make sense to everybody? Because if I'm rigid in my idea of what's right and wrong, then when it comes to me in a way that I don't understand, I won't let it in. So I got to open up the possibility that my happiness might be based on something other than the way I look at things. Wow. All right, well, let's go further then. Everybody's said stuff. Now, in my classes, you always have a mission to lay on the floor rather than to fall on the floor. So just know I don't mind if people lay out and stretch out or whatever they need to do, because I know some of this stuff can put you to sleep because it's so different from the image you have of yourself. But isn't this great to hear? He says, there are many ways in which you can resist and create a blockage in the flow of energy through your system. There are a lot of ways that you can create a blockage. There's a lot of ways that you can be energetically constipated. It is all around some form of a negative thought. All negativity is an expression of fear. So when you're around negative people, you're just hearing people express fear. That's all. They're just expressing fear. And all attempts to control somebody else is fear. So a fearful person is a controlling person. A fearful person is a controlling person. A fearful person is a controlling person. A fearful person, a frightened person, a scared person is going to try to control you. If you get in a relationship with a person that's insecure and afraid, the first thing they're going to try to do is control you. Fearful people are control freaks. Yet you don't have to believe this. You don't have to accept this. You don't have to welcome this. Remember the rules. Okay, don't forget now. Okay. So anger is just fear. Sometimes when women get afraid, they can just cry. And everybody's cool with that. Men tend to be programmed otherwise. So we expect to express our fear through anger. But but it's fear just like you have when you go, we just do it with anger, the stupid way. Because we do it as attack, which turns around and creates fights. It's seldom you're going to go, and everybody go. But if you go, son of a gun, do it! So we do our fear in ways that increase the possibility that we'll get murdered. Really smart. It's brilliant strategy. I'll express my fear in a way that nobody will want to answer my call for love. Please put your name on there if you'd like, so you can get the copies of these links to these videos. And those online, go to my website and sign up. My contact list, please. So let's go. Anger is merely a form of fear. So the very moment in which the mind is used to think a negative thought, the minute you use your mind to think a negative thought, you're going to have a very immediate comic effect. As soon as you use your mind to think an unloving thought, he says you're going to have an immediate comic effect. And given that effect over a period of time, that's how you create an illness in the body. An illness in the body comes from using your mind to think a negative thought constantly over a certain period of time. Illness comes from thinking unloving thoughts over a certain period of time. And that's how you create illness in the body. And then depression is what you create emotionally. A physical illness is what you create in the body from constantly thinking thoughts that are not based on the truth and not based on love. So we also just heard where sickness comes from. Fear. And sickness is any form of lack of peace. So when I say sickness, I'm not just talking about physical illness. You can be physically healthy and be sick because your mind is full of unloving thoughts. And you emotionally are depressed, even though your body might look fine. But you be the finest depressed woman at the party. And the finest depressed man at the party. But you see some people that look really good to get to know them, they're emotional wrecks. And you be going, oh my God, how did I end up here? I thought I was getting ready to have a good time. You know. Something went awry. It's supposed to be fun. You look so good, but you just ain't no fun. Then you ever seen somebody that look like they ought to be fun, and then you get with them and they ain't no fun. All that means is they're not acting according to the script I made up for how they were supposed to be, according to the fantasy I have about what my life is supposed to be. That's all betrayal is. You're not acting out the script that I've written for you based on what I think my life should be and what you should be doing to make it be that way. You betrayed me. So, the world is going to mirror your thoughts and beliefs. So if I want to know what I'm thinking and what I'm really believing, what do I see and hear in my world? Do I hear people talk thoughts of hatred and attack in the world? I do. Does anybody else here? Have y'all heard anybody in the world speak anything of anger and upset and attack? Anybody? Everybody in here? Okay. Is it the world you seem to be in? Okay, so then you're looking at your thoughts and you're looking at your beliefs. You see some people saying some loving, cool stuff in the world, being very giving and laughing with each other in the world. Those are your thoughts and your beliefs. According to this, that we don't have to believe. Don't have to believe it. Don't think that you have to believe it. We just want to hear it. So you can never say you don't know what you're thinking. It's what you're seeing and hearing. I don't like that. Because I can't think as highly of myself as I was trying to. If what I'm looking at is my own thoughts and all I see all day are things that are unloving and upset me, I don't want to believe that's my mind that's this negative and angry and upset and insane and depressed that I'm looking at everywhere around me. I don't want to hear that. So I'm going to say there's a you separate from me that's having those thoughts. So I can feel like I'm okay. I'll just separate from you all. It's like taking a slice of my own mind, and it's sort of like this. It's really kind of clever. What you do is you take. I remember when I was on a level of consciousness that I would have reacted to that. Okay. So here's your mind. So this is what you do. You just split it. And you imagine there's something called others. And then there's you. So now there's you, and then there's others. But the truth is, we see it's just an imaginary line. Just like the difference between two states. Show me the line that says Wyoming. You just driving down the highway, there's a big old line. That's okay, I'm moving in Mexico now. We made it up, right? Because these are all made up boundaries. That's what we do in here. That's what it's trying to tell us. So if I want to know what my world is, I got to go beyond who I think of as just me and go, oh, that's the other part of me that I'm pretending is not me so that I can think I don't have none of those issues. You follow what I'm saying? Okay, let's say I'm insecure, but I don't want to acknowledge that about myself. I divide my mind and say, you're insecure. And then I wonder why I'm attracted to insecure people. Well, I'm attracted to insecure people because they're the part of me I'm in denial about having. So they show up so I can see what's really going on. Thank you through your jealousy. Thank you for showing me I have jealousy too that I don't realize that I need to let go of because you're jealous and you're with me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to answer your call for love. Instead of getting mad at you for being jealous, I'm going to ask, how can I support you through your jealousy? Because that's what I want somebody to say to me. I'm going to give what I want to receive. Notice I didn't say I'm going to give what you want to receive. I didn't say I was going to give you what you want to receive. I said I was going to give you what I want to receive. That's what everybody gives you. The person that gives you a hug wants one. One that doesn't. They're giving you what they want to receive. That's why I said hugs are available rather than pounce on all y'all after class. I see, well, who wants to walk up that day, that's fine. Whoever doesn't, that's fine. Because part of love is letting people be wherever they are. Because the people who hug you that want to hug you got to vibe with their hug. And then sometimes people will say, I want to get out the box I normally wouldn't hug, and I'm going to see if I can safely hug you. You see what I'm saying? So some people are going to go, well, I want to do something different than what I've always done. So it's going to be a little scary, but I'm going to hug Raj. And some people, they just don't feel like hugging. And then they need to feel innocent about that. That's it. So it says, second, there is a mediated form of karmic response. In other words, namely that the world around you will, over a period of time, coagulate. What does the heck does that mean? Sounds like something I need to go to Walgreens and get some medicine for. Pardon me, I'm coagulating. That's ridiculous. If you be black, you always got some late somewhere in the word. Okay. So that means that it's going to create itself in a context that will mirror to you that which seems to prove the negative thought that by now you have forgotten you even created. Wow! Would you like to hear what I just said? Yeah. Okay, what I just said is when it coagulates, that means you may have forgotten that you ever had the thought. And then the thought comes back and you don't even remember that you were the one that put it out there to begin with. So what people are experiencing as things that are happening to them really is just thoughts that they forgot they ever had. So the things that happen to you that it looks like you had nothing to do with are just thoughts you've had that you forgot you had. It's not just when you get into spiritual truth, all of a sudden you just can't imagine being upset because you just love everybody now. Everybody just love everybody. All you see is good in everybody. And then you forget when you, a few years ago, when you wanted to run somebody over. Because now you're spiritual. You've gotten over all your issues. So you forgot all those thoughts you sent out that wasn't so loving. Well, how do you keep those loving thoughts, those unloving thoughts from coming back to you and hurting you? Well, it's easy. You learn how to let go of every block you got to love. Because if you are not on that vibratory level anymore, you can't experience it. How do I not feel the anger thought coming back to me? I'm not an angry person anymore. And since I'm not an angry person anymore, there's nothing for that thought to resonate to in me. So yeah, come on back, depression thought. You're not going to make me depressed because I'm not depressed now. But if I'm still on that same level, then I feel an increase in my depression. So what you call an increase in emotion is nothing but the repetitive nature of a way of feeling that you won't let go of. And so it just builds in its intensity. Well, what do I do? I'm glad you asked that. You choose to think different thoughts. Even while you're still experiencing the results of the way you used to think. So for a while, you're telling yourself the truth and it don't look like it's working. Because you're still meeting the results of the way you used to think. So that's why the beginning of any new change is so hard. It's because people want to see immediate results and they're not ready yet to realize the residue of the image of what they used to already think has to fade away. So they get discouraged and depressed. And they say, this stuff don't work. It's working. So, he says, then you will have the negative thought again and you will mistakenly believe that the negative thought is there because of conditions outside of you, right? I think somebody else is upsetting me. I don't realize it's just a thought that I've had coming back to me that I forgot I used to have. A way, somebody just doesn't appreciate you. You forget, oh, I remember when I didn't appreciate me. Oh, that's a thought I had about myself that's coming back to me now that I forgot. An example would be for someone to see an event occur in their life, such as the government raising taxes, and then say, yes, I've always known that's the way it is. You can't trust a single politician. Yet that one is not seeing that 15 years ago, they decided that politicians couldn't be trusted because they heard it from their father and knows in his mind that the politicians will always do something just to take more money out of his pocket. So then 15 years later, when your taxes are raised, your mind goes, I knew it. I think I must have been right all along. See what those politicians did? This means that politicians can't be trusted, when in fact, the politicians are just merely a manifestation of your own prophecy. So everybody acts the way you expect them to act, and then you think you're right about it, but you created them being that way in the first place. I can't trust women. Guaranteed to meet untrustworthy women. Then I can go, see there? You can't trust women. Can't trust men. They're all after one thing. Yeah, but there's other things too. Happiness. We want happiness. We want one thing too. So I have to make room for the thoughts I used to think to sometimes show up unexpectedly while I'm allowing myself to begin to think the new loving thoughts and stop freaking out when I don't have a good day. Woo! Kumbaya, Lord, kumbaya. Earl Purdy classes are known for their light nature. So do you understand what's happening with your relationships and your money and your finances and your career and your relationship to God now? Is everybody clear on that?
It's clear.
It's clear. You thank you. Yes, you're just meeting you're meeting your own thoughts that you forgot you even had. Then it says, in this way, I want to invite you to look at your life. How are the events that are happening and the quality of your life you are living possibly reflecting a self-fulfilling prophecy? Is your life a self-fulfilling prophecy? You said that things never go right for me, and it looks like in your life nothing's going right for you. Is your life a self-fulfilling prophecy? My prophecy was one day I would be in a room teaching what I loved in front of people that I loved, doing what I wanted to do all day, every day. I've had a self-fulfilling prophecy. What's your self-fulfilling prophecy? Well, it's whatever I expect to happen to me. Thank you. That's your self. Tell me what you expect to happen to you in any area of your life, and I'll tell you what your self-fulfilling prophecy is. I'm too old to have somebody. Then you'll die without anybody. But it would just be your self-fulfilling prophecy. There are a lot of women out there like an old man. Then you'll be Hugh Hefner. Man, 80-something years old, still that can't hardly set up, and the little girl's like, I'm not gonna be no hater. Ain't gonna be no hater. Oh, that's what's wrong with that man. She's old enough to be his great-great-granddaughter. Stop being a hater. You know what I'm saying? Are you a spiritual hater? You know, if you see like somebody else actually more forgiving and more loving and having more fun, you kind of you forgive better than me. I can't stand you. That's the problem right there. Okay. So, in other words, how could it be merely the fulfillment of the karma of how you are using the mind? Usually in this secondary form of the way karma shows up, the beliefs or thoughts are very, very old. You're dealing with very, very old, deep thoughts in your unconscious. So when we look at anger and hate and attack and fear in the world, we're looking at very old, deep thoughts in our unconscious. That's what a murderer is. A very deep, angry, attack thought in our own unconsciousness. As you go back in time and look at your life, ask, what must I have believed previously for this effect to show up? So I'm in a relationship and I go, and I'm going through something in a relationship and I'm looking at my partner and I go, what must I have believed previously for somebody like this to show up? What did I believe about relationship for somebody like this to show up? What did I believe previously about money for my bank account to be this way? What is it I must previously have believed about God for me to have such a fear of that idea? He says that's what you do. You start to look at your life and you look at stuff and you say, okay, I'm having this result. What is it I must have believed to produce it? I'm having this result. What is it that I must have believed to produce it? For instance, if you have no money, look well at what you believed about money in the past. Rich people. I hate rich people. I can't stand rich people. That's why you don't have that problem. Rich people are far away from you because you hate them. I went to a house that was so awesome when the last day before I left for Visa, I was invited to dinner to this house of this multi-millionaire, and that was one of their houses. And it was the most beautiful, humongous thing I'd ever seen, right on the coast overlooking the Mediterranean Sea, with all kinds of fruit trees. I could just reach up and grab an orange, and I could grab a banana. You know, I could even reach up and grab a chicken wing. I was in heaven. I never seen a chicken wing tree. So anyway. I was looking for the real tree. I didn't see it. Yeah. But really, it was beyond beautiful. I'll give you an idea of how bad this place was. When they wasn't in it, they rented it out for $25,000 a week.
Wow.
A week. $25,000 a week. And the Prince of Monaco had just been there right before me. Sorry, I missed the old chap. we just barely miss each other all the time in our lives. he had been there for 5 weeks just to chill out with some friends and have a good time. $125,000 just to chill with your peeps. And I feel like sometimes I'm lucky if I make it to Elitch's. You know, like we're going to the movie and saying, I hope this is the time they give me the free ticket. I'm a child of abundance. Because your abundance has nothing to do with how much money you have. Isn't that right?
That's right.
We're obviously true about that, right? I'm abundant. I don't have no money, but I'm abundant, doggone it. So we're the proof you can be abundant with no money. In terms of how much you think you ought to have. But the money is just a symbol of an experience that you want to have. The money just represents some kind of experience you want to have. The money just represents some kind of experience you want to have. And the words you used, they just describe the thing that you think is going to give you the experience you want to have. So when you said money, don't feel guilty or bad about that. You're saying there's some kind of experience that you want, that you have the right to ask for. And that's an experience of knowing no lack and feeling very abundant. So what you do is you just ask directly for abundance. Cut out the middle guy. That's deep. So especially look to see what you believed about money in the past. Especially look to see what were the beliefs about money that my parents had. What did my parents tell me about money when I was growing up in my request? And he says, for indeed, as we have touched upon before, each soul drops into this world. You dropped here. God was holding you and forgot. Oops. Oh, Earl, I accidentally dropped you in the black body in 1850. Sorry about that, buddy. In the South. Whoops. Dance. Okay. See, I couldn't laugh about that kind of stuff if I still believed it was true about myself. You know what I'm saying? Being black is fun now. Well, as a kid, it was hell. It was pure hell, let me tell you. But it was so full of love. That's what saw me through. Because I didn't realize I was born into a culture and a society in the South that was a reflection of my own deep unconscious racist thoughts. I knew that if I looked like I was having prejudice against me as a young black child in the South during segregation, which is I was growing up during that time, I was meeting my own denied racism. I was like, wow, drop me inside my own mind. That's cold. It's like the judge saying, we're going to sentence you to 10 years in your own mind. No, anything but that. Make me busy. Give me something busy to do. Give me something busy to do. Give me something busy to do. Keep me busy. Keep me busy. Keep me busy. Keep me busy. Why? Because then I won't have to listen to my own thoughts. Then I won't have to listen to my own thoughts. Then I won't have to focus in on myself. Let me focus on my children. Let me focus on my boss. Let me focus on the money. Let me focus on my time. Let me focus. Let me get. And then you mess around and you have a quiet moment and then you hear one of your thoughts. Oh no! Let me go cook something. You know, one of the weirdest things that happen when you're on the spiritual path for a long time, I've been doing this 40 years, and you start out and you have all these things you think you're upset about that need to be fixed in the world for you to finally let yourself be happy. Then you keep on focusing on the truth, and all of a sudden all those things clear up, and you're still not happy. And you come to the realization that your unhappiness never did have anything to do with any of those things outside yourself. That always was just you doing it to yourself. And then that's when the real choice, because you can't make a real choice until you know what you're choosing between. So all of a sudden, you realize that you don't have to chase for your happiness outside yourself in the world anymore. You just need to let go of the blocks in your own mind that's keeping you from feeling the way you already are. You need to let go of the blocks in your mind that keep you from feeling what you already are. You already are everything you're seeking. Whoa, well, I must not be a body. So any questions or comments about that? That was some deep stuff I just got through with. I know how this class will be over. I'm ready to go home.
You covered it all, Earl.
30 more minutes. Oh, Jesus. Okay. No, I love this. I'd rather be doing this than almost anything else. I got the coolest teacher students, what I call them, in the world. I mean, the people that get in touch with me from all over the world from watching these videos, you know, it's like, I've had over 500,000 views of my classes, which is a trip when you think about it, because I don't have no book and I don't promote nothing and I don't do nothing. But what's cool about them is they love me the way I am, just like you. You know what I'm saying? It's like watching because the way I am is cool for them. That's the way they want to listen to it and they want to learn. Do you know how gratifying that is to be able to just be yourself and that's enough? For once, you okay and plenty the way you are. Nobody's saying, if you were just a little bit different, then I could really love you. You know, you just didn't wear cologne. You mean that's what's stopping you from loving me? Cologne! That's deep. I can really feel like you're going to stick with me through thick and thin. I love y'all conditioning forever. The cologne! Okay. Do y'all hear how funny we are when somebody says back to us the way we do? It's mirrored back. Well, it's not too funny if you're doing it. But if you're not doing it, it's really funny. You can kind of tell who's doing it because they don't ever get the humor of the situation when it's applying to themselves sometimes. But now, more and more, I'm able to look at some of the things I get myself into out of my own self-loathing at times, and I have to laugh at it because it's so ridiculous. You're like, did you do this again? Again? How many times? You know, I got to the point in relationships where I thought it was going to be like really go deep in this special is I like sent a waiver. I go, I want you to read this and make sure you read this is the way I am. Standing at the bottom. That I told you exactly the way I am. This is the way I am. This is what I'm going to be. Right from the beginning. Because you always want to give people a chance to choose to let you go before they care. Because then it cuts down on the grievances. If they haven't had a chance to get into you and then realize that you're not the right one, they don't have anything to really be that upset with you because they're not that invested yet. So it's better to be upfront with people that's coming into your experience for friendship or love or anything up front. Don't go, well, I'll just tell them later. After I get through pretending to be something I'm not to get them. Right now I'm busy. I got to constantly remember to act like I like fish. Because I'm presenting the picture I think they want to see so that I can get them. Yeah, man.
So Earl, I just want to say that I really appreciate what you're saying right now because it's reminding me again that probably my biggest stumbling block is my expectation of the way I think things are supposed to look. Because then, you know, things don't happen like that and like I don't feel the way I think I should feel, and then I start judging that instead of just seeing it as, oh wow, that's an interesting experience, you know. Do I want something different or do I want to keep having this experience? Instead of like compounding it with like judging it. Because then just makes it drag, you know?
Yes, I know. Yeah, thank you. Mm. Mm. You're really getting it.
Thank you.
Yeah, because until you make the truth yours, it doesn't have any power. Until you can take what I've said and say it to yourself in your own way, it has no real power. You have to make the truth yours by using it and running it through your mind, your way. And a lot of times and stuff like that, the temptation is just to hear it, even if it's something you think you agree with, but not actually going to, how can I make this my truth in a way that has meaning for me? And then it becomes real. And then you start to get, like I said, because remember, when I said stuff like the thoughts that are going to come back to you are thoughts you forgot you had, but that's also thoughts that you forgot you had of joy, of love, of kindness, of abundance, of happiness. So don't just take it to the negative realm when I say stuff like that. So that's what you experience when you're feeling depressed and unhappy and look like everybody's treating you with love. That's thoughts you forgot you had that were loving. But what did he tell us? He said, well, but if it doesn't conform to my image of myself, which right now I'm unlovable, I'm upset, then you're going to try to give me the love and I'm going to resist it because it's not conforming with my image of myself right now, which is that I'm not enough and that I'm afraid and that nobody loves me. So when people respond to you like that, it just means that you are sharing something with them that doesn't conform with their image of themselves, so it's natural for them to resist you. And then you'll be more patient with people when they don't respond the way you think they should when you try to be nice. You go, oh, they're not trying to not appreciate me trying to be nice. I'm doing something that doesn't conform with their image of themselves, and so they're resisting me. And that'll make you want to still be loving. Anybody else? Any questions, any comments?
Well, this is just exactly what I needed tonight, because I've been going through this thing this week where it's like, you know, an electric starter button, boom, and there I go again.
There I go. I know what you mean.
It's not kickstart anymore, it's just a little button.
Yeah, you're evolving. Well, you used to take a kickstart, now you just push a button and there you go. You know? I know what you mean. Sometimes I know exactly what you mean. Yeah. See, first you see what you're doing that you didn't realize that you were doing. You see how you're hurting yourself and making yourself unhappy. But when you first recognize that, you're not at the point you can do anything about it. And so it kind of makes you frustrated. Like you know you shouldn't do it or whatever, but you do it anyway. But you finally realize it's not something that's really helping you. You know what I'm saying? So that's very important to understand that the first stage, one of the first stages of waking up is just seeing what you're doing. And don't be so hard on yourself if you're not at the point that you can actually act on that realization yet. That's coming. But the first thing I need to do is freaking see what I'm doing. So you were dropped in the world through the context of the parents. So I'm going to drop you into the world through your parents. And there's a context of perception, belief, and attitude that you begin to be colored by. You get dropped in the house, and all of a sudden, there are attitudes that begin to color you. Then he says, because you are accepting that coloration into the field of your own energy as a means of making contact with this world and emerging with it. So you're getting ready to make contact with the world because you've been dropped into it through a certain set of parents who are going to teach you about the world, to prepare you to go out to meet it. And then he says, if for instance the parents believe that spirituality and material wealth cannot go together, and therefore to be spiritual means to do without materiality, then look at how your life has evolved. If you're a person that believes that being spiritual means that you can't be about material, you know, like there's some people that get upset because I'll say, hey, I'm going to do a financial expression of appreciation. This is what I do in the world. I'm going to do. You're spiritual. You shouldn't be asking for money. You know what I'm saying? Well, see, that's that link they have with being spiritual means you need to be poor and broke and don't have anything. Which is just the opposite of belief. Be a football player and you can make $30 million a year and it's okay. You know what I'm saying? A football player can make $30 million a year. I don't resent it, but a doctor that saves lives that makes $20 million a year, I'm upset with him. It's deep, isn't it? Our values are very interesting. Because some part of us knows that being spiritual means you are aware that you're abundant. That abundance is our natural state. Lack is what guilt. It has nothing to do with money. Nothing I'm saying has anything to do with money. It works this way. Believe your abundance and the money will come. Believe you're abundant and whatever you need will come. Believe you're abundant and whatever you need in the way you need it will come. You have to believe in your abundance first, not the thing you think is going to bring you the abundance first. You don't try to believe in money to have money. You believe in abundance and it'll come. And most people who have it will tell you that wasn't their goal. That the money was a side effect of doing the thing they really wanted to do. I wanted to be the best football player on my team. I love playing football. And we're going to pay you $30 million. He didn't go, I want to make $30 million, so I'm going to be a football player. Those are the ones that never get picked. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to love myself so that I will attract somebody to me that loves me. I'm not going out to get nobody. Every time I get ready to go into a social gathering, I tell myself, you're not here to seduce, manipulate, or get. I sit myself down and talk to me. Don't you try to seduce, don't you try to get, don't you try to manipulate. Can I manipulate? Well, no, you can't. People with sexual hang-ups hate my class. Okay. Woo! Yes, Jesus had nipples.
I'm so glad.
Me too. I was going to give up on Jesus if I found he didn't have nipples. That's just a bit much. You know, Earth-sized spaceships and Jesus with no nipples. I can't do it out in the same night. It's just too much to handle on my spiritual path. So let me ask you a question. Do you find a block at receiving money?
Oh, yeah.
And for being of service to others? Like it's like if you try to be helpful, do you have a hard time receiving money when you try to be helpful? But you have no block in receiving money from doing something you dislike. Like I'm willing to get that paycheck from a job I hate, no problem. But I'm certainly not willing to receive money for being of service to others. That's a really interesting thing. Because at first I let more money come to me through doing things that I didn't like. So I would have jobs that I had big salaries on that I hated going to every day. And I have no problem getting the check at the end of the week. No, didn't go through a tap of guilt whatsoever, you know, but doing what I love, I'll sometimes resist allowing myself to receive money for it. That's a screwed up belief, that you can only receive through doing what you don't like. Then he says next, live in that question, beloved friends, and begin to apply that question to the whole of your life. As you look at your life, as you look at the effects you experience as your surroundings and your context, are you alone? Are you with no lover or friends? I don't have lover or friends. I got a little Elmo down here. That's it. That's it. I don't have no lovers. I don't have no friends. Is that you? Then he says, as you look at your life, look at the effects you experience. Like he says, as your surroundings and your context, are you alone with no lover or friends? What have you believed about the world previously? Because somewhere it is the nature of your thought, it's the nature of your thought, the agreement. Now, what is your thought? The nature of thought is the agreements you have made unconsciously or consciously about what things mean. So your thinking is nothing but agreements that you are making about what things mean, and the agreements you have made with the family and the culture in which you've been birthed that has actually generated the energy that's showing up as the effects you experience as your life. So we are acting out the cultural beliefs that we received from the time we were born and not who we really are. He says, what thoughts and beliefs were you holding within your mind? And one common thought might be, oh, I just can't really make it on my own. I need to be taken care of. I don't believe I have what it takes. Being 25 years later, you wonder why you feel resentment towards your mate. The resentment is merely the recognition that you thought a negative thought about yourself. Resentment is you thinking a negative thought about yourself. Resentment is you acting upon a negative thought about yourself and have created the effects of someone who is controlling and provides you with all your money. So resentment creates a reality where it looks like somebody else is controlling what you receive. Woo! Boy, I'm understanding more about my life than I ever have before. I have people trying to control me. It looks like people are trying to control what I receive. Yeah, buddy, that's because you got a lot of negative resentment that you're acting on about yourself, and those resentments you have towards yourself is creating people who look like they control what you receive. So you think there is a fault in them because you've forgotten to see the pebble that you dropped into the pond of omnipotent creativity. That's your mind. Your mind is omnipotent creativity. So karma is just the effect of how you're using your mind. Your karma is just the effect of how you're using your mind. What you're going through right now is just the effect of how you're using your mind. What you're going through right now is just the effect of how you're using your mind. And now I have indeed said that karma can only exist where there's not unconditional love. So how do you unconditionally love? How do you unconditionally love? It's going to be tough. This is how you do it. Because it sounds like a stretch to me. So how do you unconditionally love? Well, the first thing you do is you love yourself. Oh, I thought unconditional love was all about me trying to get to the point that I could love you unconditionally. No, the truth says no. Where Master says, no, When you unconditionally love, your mind loves itself first. It's first. If you're going to unconditionally love me, I insist that you love yourself first. If you're going to unconditionally love me, I insist that you give yourself joy first. If you're going to unconditionally love me, I insist that you give yourself the things that bring you happiness first. It was a thrilling thought, wasn't it? The room was just going off its hinges with joy at the idea of loving themselves first. I heard that gnat fart again. I did. It was another one of the gnat fart moments. Love myself first. Love that person that's the person you've been dreaming about all your life. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I can't wait to get hold to her. Love yourself first. It makes sense to me because there is a person that's going, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. How much would they want me if I was... I got to be what I want to have. You have to be what you want to have. You have to be what you want to have. You have to be what you want to have. You have to be what you want to have. You have to be what you want to have. You have to be what you want to have. You have to be what you want to have. You have to be what you want to have. You want an interested partner, friend? Stop being so damn boring yourself. Earl. Because all this is for me. You know that, don't you? I'm so screwed up, I need 35 people to support me through my stuff. Yeah, you're my support group. I'm Earl Purdy, and I'm insane as hell. I need y'all. Any thoughts?
What must I have been thinking to be seeing this tonight?
That's right. and what have you been thinking that you thought this tonight?
Man, Jesus' nipples.
Jesus' nipples. That's right. That's what that's gonna be the name of the class. What class is the Jesus nipple class? Tell them to go to YouTube and look for the Jesus nipple class. Not the Mary nipple class, the Jesus nipple class. Okay. Isn't that funny? I could say the Jesus four-finger class. Cool. Nobody got a problem with that. I could say the Jesus ear class. Oh, no problem. Nipple. Woo! Why? Because of what? The meaning we've given to it. And that's what the courses in all these books are trying to tell us. We're always reacting to the meanings that we're giving it. And that's why he says if you want to have unconditional love, then you got to first give it to yourself. And that simply means place no conditions on what you receive as ideas from the universe. So, okay, let's say it again. Okay, if I'm going to love myself unconditionally, I have to stop placing conditions on what I receive. I want to experience complete love and fulfillment, and I'm going to let go of my conditions about how that should happen. I want to experience my abundance completely. I'm going to let go of my conditions about how that's supposed to show up. That's loving myself unconditionally, is when I let go of the conditions. That's why it's called unconditionally. That means no conditionally. I'm going to love you no conditionally. That's unconditionally. I love you with no conditions. So that I can receive it. Because it's your conditions that make me not want to give it to you. Whoa! That was the neck part, y'all. I was with you till you said love myself first. So your being here tonight was a sign that you truly are loving yourself first. So let's give it up. Come on, y'all. Come on. Let's do it. Come on. I know you can do it. Give it to yourself first. Give it to yourself first. Give it to yourself first. Okay, so I'm going to wrap this up and do a quick review. We're going to do the financial expression of appreciation right now. Thank you for sharing with me in my full-time ministry with teaching this stuff, this truth. Let me pass this around. Those of you online, if you'd like to make a financial expression of your appreciation for what you received, go to my website, earlpurdy.com, and you can do it there. And I'm available for one-on-one sessions called Clarity Sessions, where I take a look at what's going on in your chart, your life, use these principles as well as my knowledge of astrology and A Course in Miracles to give you some insight into how to let go of the image of yourself that's keeping you from having what you really want right now. What the hell is going on? That's the purpose of a clarity session. So please feel free to contact me to have that and the details on my website. Sunday is the Course in Miracles class, and look forward to seeing you in that. Okay, so what I like to do right before I wrap up, we right at the end, is I like to go around and just get this sentence answered. One thing I heard tonight that I'd love to remember is
I want to be what I want.
You want to be, yeah. I want to be what I want to
I
have.
need to be what I want.
Okay, that's right.
I want to be what I want.
That's right. I want to be what I want to have. Okay, great. Me too. That's a good one.
Love yourself first.
Love yourself first. Love yourself first, which means place no conditions on what you're going to receive.
Right.
I'm going to stop placing conditions on receiving. Anybody else? Great. Good stuff.
Depression comes from denying your own path to joy.
Depression comes from denying your own path to joy. See, it's good if you say, oh, I'm depressed right now. I'm denying my path right now. I'm denying my path to joy right now. So instead of telling a person you were depressed, they ask you how you were doing, you would say, well, right now I'm denying my path to joy today. I'm denying, choosing not to know. That's what denial means. I'm choosing not to know my joy today. I'm depressed. Anybody else?
I resist it because it doesn't conform to the image of myself.
Absolutely. I'm trying to give you the love, your image of yourself that says that you don't deserve it. You're going to resist my love. You know what I'm saying? But if let's say your image of yourself is that you deserve love, then when I show up, you're not going to resist me. You're going to not be suspicious. You're going to be open. When somebody resists you, that's always a hint that you need to go the other direction. That's a little tip. You know, you come up to her and she spray you with mace, you're not a soulmate. So don't use that as an opportunity to try to see if you can really prove how, you know. You're looking for a yes. You're looking for a total yes from the other person. Yes. I'm just one big juicy yes for you. Like the biggest yes you could imagine. I have to laugh. I'm in America. I'm in the world. So we have to laugh. Anybody else?
My happiness is based on something else that I might have imagined.
Yeah, my happiness might be based on something else that I didn't think of.
Yeah.
It probably is, isn't it?
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Or I already be experiencing it. So my happiness must not be what I think it is. If everything I have thought it was and tried didn't work, it must not be it. So why not admit I don't know what makes me happy? Maybe that's what I should start saying. I don't know what happiness is. Show me. I don't know what makes me happy. Show me. What about that one? You know, do you like that? Yeah, I don't know. There's nothing wrong with saying I don't know. So that we can know. Okay, so close your eyes now and imagine what it'd be like when you're out of this room. So I want you to ask yourself, take a look at your life right now. And then say, what must I have believed previously for this effect to be showing up? What must I have believed for this to be happening to me? Or put it this way, what is it that I believe that this is what's happening to me? What is it that I must believe that I'm getting this result? What is it that I must be thinking in order to have this relationship situation that I'm in right now? And if I have a loving relationship situation, that's still true. What is it that I must have believed to have that situation? Remember that unconditional love neutralizes all karma. And unconditional love is loving yourself first and then letting go of all the conditions that you put on receiving. And then you have something to give to someone else and something to share with someone else. So your first responsibility, if you truly want to be a giving, loving person, is to have something to give by allowing yourself to be loved. And you don't wait for somebody else to do it. Don't wait for somebody else to do it. Take yourself out to dinner. Take yourself to a movie. Take yourself to get a massage. Take yourself for a walk. Treat yourself to a beautiful meal. Treat yourself to a compliment. Treat yourself. Treat yourself. Treat yourself. Treat yourself. Treat yourself. Remember that anger is just another form of fear, and fear is nothing but your request for love. It's time to let us go. Thank you. That was pragmatic, wasn't it? Oh my God! I didn't know I had talent as a scorer, also a film scorer. Hugs are available. I love you and appreciate you. And try to remember one thing you heard tonight. Just one.